Tell me about your new business.
Okay, I'm Brough Turner, and been frustrated over internet access, looking for some way to literally pull an end run around the duopoly in the United States.
The duopoly,
meaning, in the case of Boston, it's Verizon and Comcast, but in general, it's the phone company and the cable company. And so basically what we've come up with is a wireless ISP with two significant differences from any other. The first is it's a freemium business model. That is, we're offering a free service in an effort to incent the development of a community. That is, incent people to buy their own nodes and join the network. Buy a node, hang it in your window, and turn over management to us, in exchange for which we'll deal with the upstream people and we'll get you the equivalent of business DSL.
So first of all, you are aiming at businesses with this,
well,
at least initially.
At least initially, because in the United States, in major urban areas, it's actually small and medium business that has the worst deal as a result of our duopoly. And we don't necessarily know what we're doing. You move out of the range of those other people who are talking. We don't necessarily know what we're doing. We're trying this out as an experiment, and I figure we should go after the people who have the worst deal, try and improve their lot, because there'll be enough headroom there for us to make a lot of mistakes, fix the mistakes, and get it right.
So the first offer is freemium. So,
yes, freemium.
And what's the limitations on the...
Which means we offer a free service, but obviously we have to have some premium services for which we charge money, because we have to cover our costs. And the whole idea here is we may be building a community network, but unlike many community networks, we don't want to depend on grants, which typically are not renewed, or on purely volunteers or enthusiasts who end up going off to grad school. We want something that has enough value that some people will voluntarily pay for premium services, which will generate enough revenue that we will be north of break even and therefore scalable.
All right, so what for premium, for pay, what sort of, what do I get?
Again, thinking about small and medium businesses in dense metropolitan areas, the thing that people really pay through the nose for is committed data rate. It used to be T1 lines, were special access circuits. Now it's typically 5 megabits per second and 10 megabits per second symmetric committed data rates.
So committed meaning basically guaranteed.
You're guaranteed. If you sign up for 5 megabits committed, you're guaranteed. There's no shared access the way there is with DSL or cable.
As opposed to what most get at home, which is a promise of a maximum that we may never actually
have
reach.
A promise of, I have Verizon Fios in my home, and I have a promise of 20 megabits, and it literally is all over the ballparks. It's as low as 2 megabits on occasion, and it's usually up close to 20 megabits, but it varies.
So tell me about the node that I have to put in my box. How are you getting the connection
so the
to
second thing we're doing is wireless, and we are using a set of commercially designed point-to-point radios that go through glass, window to window, back and forth across an urban street in a downtown area. The node, it's very low cost, less than $300, includes 3 radios and a small router. The radios are very directional. The reason it's so low cost is that although it's a commercial radio, it's based on Wi-Fi silicon. So the price can be driven way down. 3 little plastic things that you put in the window, and unfortunately for the pilot network in the first 2 years probably, the radios have to be aimed. So it's not something we can blow out to consumers in the near term, but in 3 or 4 years we're hoping to have figured it all out and they scale everywhere.
So I'm a small business and I decide to go either freemium or premium with you, and I get a box that communicates wirelessly with sort of the head end.
Yes.
But I also am now retransmitting and becoming my own.
Yes, you are putting a node in which you pay for and you run the power for. It's 20 watts or so. No, not a whole
refrigerator light range.
Much less than vastly less than a refrigerator. More like
refrigerator light range,
actually more like your TV set, or less than your TV set. But you are buying this and putting in the window, and then you're turning management over to us. And we're using that to provide infrastructure in which we're not only sending signals to you, but we're further sending signals through your node and on to additional people. So we're building a pipe that runs down the street, window to window to window to window, and we use that pipe to deliver your free service and other people's free service and premium services to the
So does this make your network less reliable or more reliable? Less reliable because I'm a customer and I unplug by mistake or whatever.
Any individual form of connection is less reliable because the cleaning lady bumps things, knocks the plug out, what have you. We expect by redundancy to have multiple chains. We also are interested as a free service, a community-based service, in incenting people to not only buy nodes and participate, but also to sign up their networks, neighbors. So for example, if you are connected by only one route back to the head end, we can say, gee, if you were to sign up a neighbor in this building over here, you'd have a second route and suddenly your service would be much more reliable. So again, we're looking for incentives to get people to participate, try and grow this network organically, and do it with an absolute minimum cost because it's distributed amongst the community.
Technically, is this a mesh network?
No. Yes and no. It is not a mesh network in the commonly used sense. Mesh networks typically involve a omnidirectional antenna with all the channels on the same, all the radios on the same channel, and that results in managing interference as the primary issue. We are using separate channels on a whole series of point-to-point links. Now you can think graphically that it is a mesh because there are multiple paths through it and so forth, and all the normal routing protocols which are used in the internet apply to the sort of stuff we're doing, but it's not a mesh in the popular term of a wireless mesh.
So in a mesh network, any new node can enter and it's automatically absorbed into, becomes part of the network.
We're using more conventional internet routing protocols, but in the sense that the entire internet is a mesh, we are a mesh in that sense.
And how's it going so far?
Well, we started the company on May 3rd. We said we wanted to get the first actual wireless link up by the end of the summer, which you could argue might be September 21st, but we were hoping by Labor Day. We now have, and this is the week after Labor Day, we have 2 routers, 4 radios, and 1 live link. So we barely made it by the end of the summer. We expect to have a number of customers, like a half dozen, and possibly 1 paying customer by early October, and we expect to have 50 plus nodes by the end of the year. So we are a week behind where I would have liked to have been when we made some, but this is very much, we are cobbling stuff together, trying to prove out the question of how much incentives do we need, what do we need to give away free to get people to participate, how good does the premium offer have to be, what will people pay, and how do we make this so we are north of break even, because that's the critical metric. We have to be north of break even if we want this to scale. So we're trying to figure that out.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.